What's going on, guys? Welcome to another session with Phrankleen. This is your first time. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you, okay? Right, so today, how do I call this? It's basically a very quick session, just have a bit of a chit chat with you about my observation the last few days. And for those who have been watching me for a minute, thank you for doing so. If you're stopping by for the first time, my name is Phrankleen. I'm the brain behind this platform. I'm pro-Black. I exude Black excellence. I align with Black excellence, and then the premise of my content, be it stories about people's experiences and all that stuff, spirituality, Ifa, is basically to hopefully be able to emancipate as many people as possible within the Black community, that we can learn at least one thing, and we can at least, and also one step at a time, move forward in the right direction as a people. Does that make sense? If that works for you, if you like what I'm about, please don't forget to like my video. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. You can also follow me on Twitter at Phrankleen, exactly as it's spelled on my YouTube channel. So like I say, it's just a quick chit chat session, okay, about my observation a few days ago. So a quick, background before a build up to the story that I want to tell you today. I've long before now detached from the religion of the invaders. I was born into Christianity and stuff like that. I grew up in it as a child, grew up in church, was a chorister for years, sang in all the 9 yards, right? So as you grow older, sort of youngin, I moved to the UK, and then you grew up in the system. And then along the line, Eledumare helped with the recalibration of my life. I found Ifa. The emancipation started before I even connected with Ifa, and Ifa basically has helped me to be able to recalibrate and align with my Ori, and be able to then sort of reboot and find my actual pathway and calling in life through divination, through Ishefa and, Itefa. And Ifa has also helped me to be able to, deal with challenges in life, because these things are actually inevitable or going to delay. These are spiritual battles that emanate from our bloodlines, from where we've come from, or going to delay all sort of attacks, and mostly spiritually and all that. Ebor sacrifices, they're very handy, and these is one of the many juicy benefits of the practice of Ifa. But I'll talk about that another time. So a few days ago, I went to a local. I went back to gym, to signed up with a gym, trying to get my fitness back. It's been a few years since I stopped working out. I'm just trying to get my health, overall health and well-being back on track. And I've got muscle memory. A few years ago, I used to be like proper cut and well-defined. Life happened, I drifted away. But anyway, I decided to go back into fitness, which is great. So I went back, joined a local gym, and I was walking home. I left the gym and it started raining. So I took a sharp left into a local shop ran by these Pakistani family, like your local news agents, quite big. And I walked in there, bought water, I bought a couple of things. So, but I couldn't run out of the shop after paying because it was raining. So I advanced forwards, and then I stood by the entrance just to the side, just waiting for the rainfall to ease up, a bit so I can walk away. While standing there, first of all, I want you to look at this image that I'm going to show you now. This couple of images. You see these images at the top of the door of the shop, and then I carry on with the story, okay? Right. You've seen the images? So as I stood there, I looked up at the top of the door, and this just caught my attention. This, probably these big, was hanging up there right atop the entrance. So I was curious. So there's this young Pakistani dude, right? He was standing by me. So I'm like, dude, how you doing, man? He's about 26-year-old, very articulate young man. And I said, bro, forgive me, but what's this thing that's tied up in rope, this chunky stuff at the top of the door? I'm just a bit curious. So he had a smile on his face. Some people might instantaneously become a bit defensive, like, why are you asking or something like that. But no, he wasn't. He was very polite. He had a smile on his face. So because I had my hand like this, so he looked at me and he said, what's this? So he tapped on this. I don't know if you can see this, right? So he said, what's this? And this is my Ideifa, it's for fortification as well as, this. But I had this in my shirt because I had a jacket on. So this wasn't visible, right? But I had my wristwatch. So he was like, what's this? So I smiled. So I said, well, you answer my question first. So it was like, well, based on, our spirituality, what we align with, pay attention. He said, this doubles up as it wades off negative energy in the business premises and, serves as a form of protection. And also it doubles up as a driver of wealth. So he was trying to explain to me based on their belief system, right? That they believe in, like they have a deity of wealth that they align with. So he was saying that deity basically ensures, said the whole four corners of the shop. He even clearly said to me that there are bigger versions of that within the premises. So I was listening, like, wow. And he said behind the counter where we make payments, card payments and cash payments, there's like he just carried on talking. I've never met him in my life. And he said, there's like a basin, like that's got some other stuff, a bigger version of this. He said, that's where my dad is sat. He said, so I was curious. I said, okay, interesting. I said, what does that represent? You were explaining. He goes, yeah, it wades off negative energy and it doubles up as a sort of like represent the energy that draws wealth for the family. So you've got to run the business, of course, by business principles and work, effectively and all that. So, but it ensures that 90% of people that come, you always have the pressing need to come back and spend money with us. He said, that way we get to win and grow financially. On my life, I was looking at this young man dead in the eyes and I was like, wow. So he said, yeah, that explains what you're looking at the top of the door. You see, he talks about this. Then I went, we went back. So I said, what do you know about this? And he goes, that's for Ifa. I was stunned. I had this conversation with my wife. So I said, what do you know about Ifa? And he laughed. And he goes, oh, Ifa is very powerful. It's from, predominantly from Nigeria, West Africa. He's a 26-year-old lad, very articulate, very smart young man. So anyway, so I of course, I did say some things about Ifa and it was a very lovely conversation. And then I told him, because I know what that is. So he said, but I don't know what it's called. And I said, it's called Ifa. That it's soaked in, Ifa leaves and Ifa priest, a Babalawo would, carry out some sort of like impartation into it, invoke the necessary energies and, in line with the relevant deities and stuff like that with Ifa leaves and all that. And the same thing with this, and then you wear it. I wear it to sleep most times. Sometimes I don't. But this is like permanently on my wrist and things like that. You can have, some people wear more than one and stuff, if you 2, 3 and things like that. And he looked at me and said, I know what this represents. And I said, cool. So anyway, as we carried on with the conversation, the rain had eased up and I was like, my man, nice to meet you, bro. He goes, nice to meet you. Make sure you come back. I said, yeah, sure. I said, do have a nice day now. I said, he said, you too, sir. Bye. And I stepped out. I walked away. And as I walked away, I was beaming with smile. At the same time, it was a mixture of, it was a mixed bag of emotion for me. I was smiling. And at the same time, as the rain was just drizzling, I was just shaking my head. So why was I? Let me be clear. I absolutely do not have any problems or any issues with them fortifying their business premises, right? Activating universal energies to ensure that wealth grows within the family, to ensure that 90% of their customers come back to spend money with them. They're basically aligned with universal energies or universe, let me just say universe energies, to put it that way, to ensure they buy a spot in our wallets and their customers keep coming back to spend money. That way, he said, we get to win financially. That stuck with me. And this takes me to my next point. If you go into Chinese restaurants, for those of you that are conversant with, it could be the takeaway restaurants, it could be the ones that you sit in there to wine and dine. You would see things like all these cats that sit down with a swiveling arm and keep going back and forth like that. You would have observed that kind of golden color with red and all those things. They're not there for fun. They have nothing to do with Christianity or Islam, religion of the invaders, right? Some of you may not know, even the Chinese, they have their own divination system, whereby when they have babies, when they have a newborn baby, they divine to have a peek into what's this baby, this boy or girl, what's this boy or girl called to do in this dispensation. They don't play with it. They have rituals that they do. They connect with the universe. Very tiny percentage of them might have been colonized or gravitate towards the religion of the invaders. For the most part, you're never going to walk into a Chinese restaurant or takeaway place and find the picture of Jesus Christ on the wall or find a painting of Muhammad or Allah on the wall. Never. The point I'm trying to make is, when you go into your local restaurants to order food or your takeaway and all that, and you see the cart swiveling, or you like this place that I walked into, this news agent shop, you don't feel some type of way. You see the mental conditioning. You buy, you shop with them. You buy, you go back. There are news agents across the nation, predominantly run by people of Pakistani background, Indians, Bangladeshi backgrounds. You know, we go into a lot of these news agents. Very rarely do you find white folks running news agents. These people dominate this industry. It's like your little small to medium-sized local grocery stores that they sell virtually everything that you need in there, right? You play lottery, you can even pay your bills and on all that. Your gas, your electric, your rent. They have a pay point. But here is the point. The Negro, black folks, the mindset of the average black person is absolutely colonized and damaged. They have been stripped of identity. Black people would rather channel energies into stigmatizing what belongs to them, what belongs to their forefathers. You know, when I have a logical conversation with anyone who is religiously inclined, a lady bumped into me recently whilst I was in Nigeria. I'm going to come back to this, right? It's part of what I'm talking about. She recognized me in the city of Lagos, this Joel Ogunaike, Ikeja GRA. And she was like, oh, hi, Phrankleen. She was trying to walk into a restaurant. I said, Phrankleen from YouTube, oh, hi. You know, I said, oh, hi, how you doing? So we exchanged pleasantries. And then she was like, well, I like what you talk about on your channel. It's just this Ifa thing, yada, 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 da, 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 da. And then we got talking. So I was looking at her. I had a smile on my face. And I said, these Ifa thing. I said, well, you've never heard me say anybody has to, mandatorily align with African spirituality. I'm using my voice, my platform. But, at the end of the day, you have the final say over your life. I'm not forcing anyone. I'm not holding you by the jugular or saying you have to. But I said, but listen, can I say something to you? I said, it's a fact, a well-documented fact. Even the colonial masters, even the white folks will tell you that Ifa predates African spirituality. Predates the religion of the invaders. Ifa predates the religion of the invaders, predates Christianity, predates Islam. Before the invaders brought their religion to the shores of Africa, our forefathers, my ancestors, practiced Ifa. So why is it unusual? And this is how we strip ourselves of our identity. This is one of the reasons why they did that. They don't like it. It's obvious even in the modern times that we live in. They don't like it when you know the truth, when you are emancipated, when the mental chains are broken, when your third eye is activated. They don't like you. The oppressor doesn't like you. I am not their favorite person. In fact, they would seek to attack you. They would do everything to try to diminish your voice because they know that one black person that's emancipated has the spiritual and the mental prowess and capability to be able to emancipate a bunch of other black folks. And they don't want us to see the light. It's absolutely crucial for them to win that we remain blind, that a bunch of our people, generation after generation, remain mentally crippled and chained and remain blind. The simple message that I'm passing across. I told that woman, she was basically waffling on, trying to sound a bit rude. So I just cut the conversation short. I said, if I let you, if I sort of die, if I 20 and 2, so much, said, and you do follow me, and you do a lot to marry. If I till I die. I said, woman, do have a nice day now. I discharged her and I walk away. Now, and I also said to her, don't forget to unsubscribe. Back to my point. We have a deeply rooted problem of identity, lack of identity, diminished identity, totally obliterated identity within the black community. It's like a stage 4 cancer. It's utterly destroyed the fabric of our society. Even, let me shock you, I was in Nigeria recently for approximately 2 months. It's mind-blowing, even on ground level amongst your own kind. There was a woman I saw in a shopping mall, a bit local, one that one would interpret as with limited educational background, not well spoken in terms of English language. That's not to suggest that she's stupid, but you can tell from the way she was sounding. But this is what shocked me. I was in the shopping mall and she was addressing a little boy. Tyrese, could you see this, Tyrese? And then her friend, whose name, I think I remember her being called Muji. And Muji said, Terence. Muji's son is called Terence. And it shocked me that look at these people with limited education. They're so much westernized. They so, if I could bet a millionaire if I asked that woman, what does Tyrese mean to you? Why did you name your son Terence? They wouldn't be able to tell me. But they're so defined by Western media, the Western culture, that she wouldn't name him, give him a true Yoruba name that identifies with his culture, that has a true meaning that will follow him for the rest of his life. She wouldn't. And there are plenty like that. You see all these young lads in a hot climate like Nigeria, they wear puffy winter jackets, head warmers, and I'm taken aback. I look at them, I laugh in shock. Like, how do you even walk around in that jacket for like even up to 5 minutes in a very hot climate because they so want to be New Yorkers. If only they visit New York and see the truth behind New York and the rest of the United States. That's a conversation for another day. When I walk around in Nigeria, here's my last point. I have my Idefa, this around my neck. Now, let me tell you, because this is Africa, right? This is not diaspora. A bunch of people that see me with this, they thoroughly know what this is for. They know that only finding me, they know I'm an Ifa practitioner. In fact, but you know what's shocking? Some of them, you see the look of disgust in their eyes. It's almost like they have a problem with you showcasing and publicly aligning with Ifa African spirituality. There is a huge number of practitioners that benefit from Ifa behind closed doors. But in the front end, they are hypocrites that project religion of the invaders. You find them in the front bench of the churches. You find them in the front bench of the mosques. But behind closed doors, their strength, their success is derived from Isheshe, African spirituality. So it's not normal. So they want you to conform. But unfortunately for them, I am a non-conformist. The reason I wear this is not for any sinister reason. I walk in my truth. I fully align with my belief system. And I'm a proud practitioner of Ifa. You know why? If I was still aligned with the religion of the invaders and I had a cross, a crucifix around my neck, the society would see that their brain is conditioned as normal. But when I have this, if I get on the bus, if I get on the train, I'm in the taxi, I'm walking in the airport. Some people even take steps backwards. I love it. I enjoy it. I smile. On the plane, I remember on the plane when I was going to sit down, trying to put my hand luggage in the storage space at the top in the cabin, and I could see looks. There are people that do recognize me from YouTube. You can see looks. Some people that understand, they will say, Aboru boy, Aboy Boshishe. I'll reply. Some people will say, Ifagbi wow. I say, Ashe, Ifagbi wow. You exchange pleasantries in that regard. And on like that. The Black community, we have a long way to go. On a closing note, African spirituality, it's the way forward and it's the way out for Africans, whether you like it or not. That's my truth. So that's my little story. I enjoyed talking to that young man. So I was hoping that somebody would pick something from it. I have an Ifa divination service. I started this back in April this year. By the way, let me say this. There was a host of backlogs. There are people waiting to hear from me. In this month of November, I give you my word. I've put in my community page that I'm back. There'll be more content now. You'll be dealt with, okay? I will deal with your pending divination. Well, if you're watching me for the first time, I have an Ifa divination service that I provide. Ifa divination allows you to look into anything. There is Akosejaye. It's called predestination checks in English. Who are you? What were you called to do in this dispensation? You can get in touch with me. Send me an email to footchannel1960@gmail.com. If you look in the description below, you find my email address. And the premise of this is you align with the universe. You can look into whatever. Are you dating someone? Do you want to? Check if you spiritually align with that person. So many people's lives are at a standstill. They're problematic because they've married, they've picked on the wrong partners. The energies do not align. If your Ori do not align, you can't outdo the universe, like I keep saying. Who are you? Are you in the diaspora? Are you in a dead-end job? You have a mountain of qualifications from every university. You've done project management trainings, Prince 2, Prince 3, Prince 4, Prince 5. You've done everything. Trying to make a headway, but there is zero fulfillment. Ifa can help you with the recalibration of your life. You start off with divination. Interestingly, next year, I'm traveling to next year, at some point next year, I'll be going to Nigeria with someone, one of my subscribers, who has, through my help, they've carried out their Ishefa, which is their hand of Ifa, the first part of Ifa initiation. So they'll be traveling with me to Nigeria at some point next year to have their full Ifa initiation. It'll be a wonderful experience. I am glad that as an Ifa initiate, I've been able to help other human beings find their pathway, their calling in life, and they'll be going for initiation. In fact, these person by universal calling, Orito Nyawai, is actually a Babalawo by calling. Their life has pretty much been a bit dormant here in the UK, and the divination has been extensive. But the beginning of their spiritual journey and fortification is to have full Ifa initiation. They've done the first part, which is Ishefa. That can be done without you present. But they'll be traveling with me at some point next year, early next year, and for full Ifa initiation. It'll be quite an experience. If I can share snippets, of course, not with their face and of course with their authorization, I will do. But if you're interested in Ifa initiation and things like that, you can get in touch with me. It's not mandatory. Some people, Ifa picks them. It's for fortification. So, and it unpacks layers and layers of anything and everything about your life, whatever you want to know. Are you going into business with someone? Would you like to know what's going on and things like that? Your decisions. Are you wired for headway in the UK, in the US, in Australia? Are you planning to travel abroad? Check with Ifa. Ifa. Ifa is a guiding light. And I like to say this to balance everything. If it's not your cup of tea, it's not your cup of tea. I love you anyway as my brother and as my African sister, okay? So that's my story. My name is Phrankleen. Thank you for lending me your eardrums. And I'll most definitely send me your emails to foodchannel1960@gmail.com. Look in the description below. I'll most definitely catch you in the very next one. Peace and love. Bye-bye.